So two things that I want to do with this point is have it scaled so that I can scale these values. So if it's 1 1 and I scale it by 3, they should be 3 3. I also want to sort of flip the coordinates. So if it's 3 and 4, after flipping it, it should be 4 and 3. So no real reason for doing that, just as an example on how we can sort of extend in the not in the object sense, in the real sense, we can extend the functionality of our point. So let's create a function. Let's call it scale by. So public scale by. Now notice when we created classes, we always had capitals to begin with. I haven't mentioned this, probably in other videos I have, but methods we always start with a lowercase. So I've got scale by, and what I need to do is have an integer that I'm going to scale it by. So scale by int a. Now again, we've got the red line because it's there's no return value. We're just going to change the values of x and y. And scale by, so all I want to do is multiply whatever the values are. So the new value of x is going to be the old value of x times a. Job done. And the new value of y is going to be the old value of y times a. So that's all I need to do to have to scale my point. Now that could be useful for vectors or other items. The next one is probably a little more useful. What I want it to do is flip around the coordinates so that y is x and x is y. But I've got a 3-step process with this one because I have to store one of these values. So let's go through that. Public, again, void, because we're not returning anything. And I'm going to call it flip. You could call it swap, whatever you want, doesn't really matter. And what I need to do is set up a temporary variable. And that has to be an integer because the variables we're using are integers. So I'm going to say int temp equals x. So I've temporarily stored the x value. And what I'm going to do then is set the x value to be equal to whatever the y was, and the y value equal to whatever the x was, but we've just lost the x when we set it there, but we saved a copy of it here. So if I just do temp, that flips the coordinates. And that's basically it. And we can see that in action when we come back to our data types. So here let's do it with the P2, and what I want to do with that is flip. Oh, I seem to have an error message on that one. I can't use the void type. Okay, so that's just because it's part of a function. So I need to do P2 dot flip, which is fine, and then I can just do print P2. Sorry about that. What was the other one that I did? So I am flipping them so that the 4 should come first, the 3 should come second, and the other one was scale. So if I print out P2 there and then do P2 dot scale by, let's make it 5. Oops, and then print out the value of P2. We should see that action. So if I run the program, there we go, I've got 0 0, which is what I had here, and then 2 2, which is fine. Now the 3 4 has been flipped to be 4 3, which is good, and then I've scaled these by 5, so 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 3 is 15, job done. So I've added some functionality to my point, and we can add loads and loads of functionality to the point. But what I want to do next is sort of use it as part of another data type. So in the next set of videos, I'm going to look at a new data type, create a data type called fraction, and use it in the same format. So that will be in the next videos.